So, Paul, thank you very much for joining us today on CISO Talks. Really appreciate your time. Perhaps you could start by just briefly introducing yourself and what you do. That would be really helpful, if you don't mind.
Oh, absolutely perfect. And thank you for the opportunity to be with you. I am the CEO of a small startup company that's called AgilePQ. Stands for Agile Post Quantum. We create encryption, full encryption and security for the smallest of IoT devices that is also post quantum in nature.
Yeah, really interesting. And I imagine it's something of a hot topic at the moment because obviously there's, it's the kind of new wave of threats that we're seeing at the moment, right?
It's a massively hot topic. I mean, there's so much increase in activities on these small IoT devices. In fact, Nokia recently did a study, and in that study, they showed that the number of IoT devices that are infected have now become higher than all other devices combined, and they increased from a 16% increase in 2019 to 33% increase now. People are getting through these small IoT devices, and it's playing havoc with security, both at the device level and upstream into the server.
Yeah, I suppose the really big driver behind this, as well as the fact that with this mass of employees having to work from home, it's one thing trying to secure IoT while you're in the office environment, but what are you going to do? You have someone with at home that has all of these other devices that are IoT. I mean, that must present a huge risk, right?
Yeah, I think the people working from home has increased some of this, but I don't think it's the biggest increase. I think the biggest increase is that with people working from home, companies are looking for ways to use IoT devices and automation, say on the manufacturing floor, or for physical security, or for smart cities applications. They're looking to use those to reduce headcount that has to be together in an unsafe environment, but increase efficiency and increase data that they're collecting. So that's leading to a lot of deployment of IoT devices, and it's also leading to a very lax attitude about just hooking up an IoT device, connecting it to the corporate network without forethought of how that might affect the total security.
We've been talking about this topic for years and years and years. I remember many, many, many years ago, we're going back like maybe even 12, 15 years ago when I was working at Sophos, and they were talking about network access control, making sure that what it is that's coming onto your network, and really coming up with this. And it's still not been very widely adopted. Not really. It's still a really big problem. And I don't. What's it going to take until people start taking this threat seriously?
Sometimes I joke with people when they say, how do you market your product? And I joke and say our best marketing would be to hire a massive law firm on a contingency plan and have them sue people who are leaving consumer devices exposed, and bad actors are taking those over and using them for DDoS attacks and so forth, and get a big settlement, and that would drive our market tremendously. I think that that's part of it, that there hasn't probably been enough either high profile or large payout cases. But I think the bigger thing is just a logistical thing with the rapid growth of IoT devices. So Security Today did a study, and the numbers they came back with is that they're forecasting that there will be, by the end of 2021, there will be 35 billion IoT devices, and that'll go to 75 billion by 2025. That's a lot of growth of devices. And the Santa Fe group in Santa Fe, New Mexico in the US did a corporate risk management study recently, and they showed that less than 25% of all companies know where all of their IoT devices are on their network system, let alone being able to secure them all under a complete security umbrella. So the fundamentals of this are bigger than just security. It's making sure that from the very outset that companies know where their devices are, how to track them, know if they're on, know if they're communicating properly, know if they're being hacked, and create that kind of visibility, and at the same time make sure that they're completely secured for attacks both now and long into the future.
Strikes me one of the big challenges here is that this is no longer even just simply an IT problem. I mean, any department in the business can buy something that's IoT enabled. I mean, it's this is no longer just an IT problem. This is actually a wider group problem, isn't it?
It's a complete network problem. I mean, so let me maybe I'll give kind of an example. Let's say you've got a manufacturing floor, and they're putting tens of thousands of IoT devices to monitor all kinds of functionality, and so a maintenance supervisor puts in a new motor and wants to put a vibration sensor on that motor for predictive maintenance. And so he hooks up that vibration sensor, hooks it in, connects it to the corporate system, and the corporate system doesn't even know it's there. They just put it onto the Wi-Fi that they have. Perhaps they didn't even change the username and password, and it's still got the factory username and password of, username of admin and a password of admin, which are just immensely secure. And so they put that in place, and that happens 3 or 4 times per shift, 365 days a year, where these devices are being put in place. So the security on this becomes an afterthought. The convenience of the IoT device is so great, and it makes our life so much better, and it covers a lot of territory that gives us data that makes us more efficient. But the security is now creeping up on us and is really going to bite us in the backside. And we've got to start thinking at the outset about security as part of the development process of an entire network system, and lay that security groundwork that includes multiple layers, everything from authentication and authorization, making sure that usernames and passwords are safer and more secure, although people can still get through those quite rapidly. Make sure that they're looking at threat detection data, make sure that they are tracking devices on the network, and then making sure the data in transit and all other areas are completely secured, whether it be on that small IoT device or somewhere in the cloud or anywhere in between.